my tax team here with me, and they're going to help hopefully answer all the questions.
Awesome, let's go.
All right.
Okay, we'd like to start our discussion today with the interest Mr. Paul earned on bonds in
Okay.
2011.
Great.
And we agree with you that the interest earned on security bonds is not deductible.
On which bonds?
U.S. security
Oh,
bonds.
the U.S. bonds, yeah. I've been doing this for 20 years, I get something right?
Yes, totally.
Okay.
You're exactly right. And under section 103, the interest on bonds is normally taxable with certain exceptions. And one of these exceptions is the receipt of interest on state and local bonds.
Absolutely.
Yes. And U.S. 103C defines that American Samoa as the U.S. possession, and the interest earned on U.S. possession is not taxable.
But
So-
Samoas are cookies.
Me too.
No.
So we believe the interest of $120,000 is not deductible.
You know, it does say right in there, you know, possessions are states.
Mhm.
Kind of odd, but it's what it says, so I guess we'll have to grant that.
Thank you. I'm glad we can include them.
Good.
Moving right along, we would next like to discuss Mr. Paul's generous gift that he received his BMW for being on the 2011 All-Star team.
Yeah, can I just tell you one thing, Mr. Paul? I'm a big fan. I've heard
Well,
about
thank
big
you.
car,
Appreciate
man.
it.
I play a little basketball myself, you know, whoa.
I was gonna throw it over there to you. It's
Right.
a great honor. Sorry, go ahead.
So he received this in March 2011, and here is the letter indicating that.
So
From
you should
there,
have reported his income, right?
well, let me continue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So from there, Mr. Paul donated to WFDD, his favorite NPR radio
Ah.
station here at Wake Forest. And so here is that indication.
Okay.
And from there, WFDD then turned around and sold it to a dealership, and we have a letter indicating that.
They sold it. Okay.
So under code section 170, if you decide to donate a vehicle to a qualified organization, a 501c3, which WFDD does qualify as that, you can deduct the gross proceeds from that sale. And as we indicate on there, we got $73,000 from that. And we have provided from WFDD the form 1098C.
So that's a very important piece of it. So you agree the $110,000 should be an income, but I guess by this you're saying you'd like to
We can
have a
deduct
deduction.
of $73,000.
portion.
Right.
I mean, this is the appropriate documentation for that, and this.
This is in one piece, right?
Oh, what's that other form that you had to, do you have another form, 8283, that you put it on tax return and filled that out?
We do not have that, but we can provide that for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you clearly gave it away, and you clearly have the documentation, just all, you know, all charitable contributions of non-cash have to be reported on that form, but if you can provide that after this meeting, I think we can allow that. That'd be great, thank you.
Thank you.
For the loan Mr. Chris Paul made to Mr. Jason Paul Whitley.
the
it's-
gift.
Yeah,
Right.
no,
No?
not the gift. The Whitley
I'd like to have a
is-
cousin that gives me $200,000.
No, it's actually a business loan,
Oh, tell me
and I
more.
believe it's totally deductible in 2011.
Okay, tell me more.
Here's the promissory note made
Oh,
by
so it's an actual
Chris
note.
and Jason. On the promissory note, you can see there's principal, interest, and date. So we believe it's a standard loan. And actually, we believe it's a loan made for business purpose
Tell
because
me more about the business
Yeah.
part of it.
Chris Paul just make a lot of loans to other basketball prospects to help them to get started. Here I got a contract that Mr. Chris Paul made with Deshaun and Derek.
Oh, yeah, I remember those guys.
On the contract, you can see they're required to pay the principal as well as the minimal interest,
Mhm.
nominal interest. And also from the contract, you can learn that they are required to pay 15% of their salaries.
Wow, so this is something you've actually done before, and you've reported the income when the tax return
Yeah,
is done?
yes, we have the form here.
Okay.
So, that's
There
awesome.
you go.
So, but why your cousin? I know these other two guys from their college careers, from being a big basketball follower, but your cousin, really?
He was a very good Division I player, and
Okay.
I talked to some scouts. Usually do a little bit of homework before this, and he was
Not, it
recommended
would be
to
a very good business decision, would it?
Right, and I mean I thought he had a very good shot at making it, and that 15% is a good return for me.
So why is he not paying you back?
Well, he got hurt, and it's that's part of the risk that you take. NBA guys, if they blow out an ankle, that's it.
So is he gonna have no form of income? Why could he not pay you back? Just because it's not basketball doesn't mean he can't pay you back.
Well, He's actually returning to school, my aunt said, trying
Where
to
at?
get at Wake Forest.
Really, I've heard of that school.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm alumni
It's
over there.
expensive school,
Yeah,
man.
It is.
Plus, all the students who go there, they always get great jobs and make lots of money. Why can you not pay them back?
Well, that's afterwards. Right now, because you know the school is very expensive, and Jason's, because he's a professional basketball player before, so he's
Mhm.
earning a scholarship for Vermont. That's what I heard, and
Yeah.
he has already filed bankrupt before he actually goes
Well,
to
tell
school.
me more about that. That's,
Yeah.
We have bring the correspondence between Chris Paul and his lawyer Timothy Yankee. From the email, you can learn that Timothy is filing the bankruptcy petition for Mr. Jason Paul in 2011. So I believe all the factors shows that Jason Paul is unable to pay back the
has he
loans.
completed the bankruptcy? Did he complete it in 2011?
He completed in 2012.
So why did we not take the deduction in 2012?
But as he is filing the petition in 2011, so we believe at that time he's unable to pay back the loan.
You know, I seem to recall, it's not always when the bankruptcy ends. There is, you can consider all the evidence, and you can establish worthlessness before the bankruptcy is finalized. So, I think I think you've convinced me that can be a business loan, a business loss. Thank you for walking me through that.
Definitely. Moving on, we're going to discuss his moving expenses, and you know there was a large amount that he wanted to
Hanging out at
deduct.
that presidential suite, right?
Right. Code section 217 states that you can deduct certain moving expenses that are related from starting work in a new location,
Sure.
and included in these costs are the transportation of household goods
Do
and
you
the
have any
store.
receipts or any
and the storage.
documentation for
We
this?
do.
Maybe
Oh,
didn't
great.
include it in the original file, but we'd like to make an amendment on that.
Okay,
These are the original receipts.
okay. Understood. What portion of this do you find deductible then?
We find the transportation of the household goods and the storage of household goods to be totally deductible.
And this
Okay.
one-way flight on May the 1st, 2011, from Orleans to California is deductible. You get $4,500.
Okay.
Just
That
the
seems
one
reasonable.
way from the move from New Orleans to
That certainly
LA.
sounds reasonable.
Mhm.
And as far as the lodging goes, we know it's way above average, you would think, but that is necessary for a celebrity and NBA icon like Chris Paul. This is very necessary for him because if he hurt his ankle, that's just like his career is gone. So his security is very important for him and his family, and as well as his career.
So you believe the whole $38,500 is deductible?
So we believe the meal is not deductible. This
The room service?
Yeah, we deem that
I
as
can
meal.
agree with that. I think we can agree with that piece of it. Is that the,
Yes,
oh yeah.
and this is.
She always makes the forms come in, right?
Thank you.
Well, it is a
for
requirement,
reminding me.
we do try to follow the law.
Yeah, this is the schedule that we prepared for Mr. Paul. It's the revised moving expenses that are deductible on that.
Okay, I think we can grant that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
For the charitable contribution, according to section 170, we do need appraisal for the non-cash donation.
That $500,000
Yeah.
deduction.
So
That's a
we
big
have
number.
to admit that Mr. Chris Paul made a mistake that he didn't do the appraisal when he made charitable contribution, and he didn't attach the appraisal with the tax return. But I do want to say that Mr. Chris Paul do the donation out of his charitable intention. Actually, I got email from the president of Wake Forest about the donation.
Right.
And Chris Paul also made many other donations in every year. So we believe to reach an agreement, we want to deduct the $325,000 purchase price Chris Paul paid when he bought this painting. Here's the sales agreement. You can
This is when
find
he
the
actually
number.
bought it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it clearly shows you bought it for $325,000, and I certainly believe you gave it to the university. But, the tax code's pretty stringent on this, anything over $5,000 without an appraisal.
Yeah.
I really don't have any leeway with respect to
Actually,
that.
we did a retroactive appraisal.
Oh, there is an appraisal?
Yeah.
Oh,
For
okay.
painting, it's $500,000.
Oh, this is actually very, very helpful to your case. I mean, if I look at the appraisal date, it was done before he filed his tax return, which was clearly the requirement on that piece of it. and, you know, they have the ability to go back in time, and, you know, Christie's is a very reputable appraisal. I think, I understand your argument now. I'm really glad if you had not supplied this, I wouldn't have been able to grant anything.
Like we said, we realized, he did make a mistake, and
What's that other requirement that always happens in the fact, there's like two
Broken
requirements.
record today, Form 8283. Do you
Yeah.
guys have that?
But-
The other piece.
Yeah, that form, and you have to have kind of the appraisal summary and just a required documentation in
Do
the
you think
tax
we can
return.
provide it afterwards?
You know, it's, the appraisal clearly has to be done before you file, but the 8283, there is a small exception depending upon why Mr. Paul didn't file this. And so maybe, can you tell me more why you just
Well, it was really
decided
just,
not to follow the tax law?
it was a mistake on my part, I'm not a tax specialist, and, it was a big contribution, but I've always just donated money to the university and taken it off, so it was,
So your history's been one of cash contributions, and so you just made us, just didn't
And I
understand
just-
there's a different set of rules for non-cash.
right, and I love Wake Forest, I want them to really, benefit from me as much as I possibly can, and
Well, you've certainly been generous to the painting and through the car
They
and,
do.
and other means.
it's, hanging in the Wake Chapel right now.
Oh, so they're actually, it's really using for academic purposes, while the students can really enjoy and benefit from. It's, I don't see any reason why we couldn't grant that, do you?
And then you guys provide us that form.
Yeah, that is, without having that form, we would not be able to grant either of those charitable contributions. And so if you can supply that afterwards, then that could be granted.
We'll provide that as soon as possible.
Okay, right. Anything else we should cover?
I think we can talk about the Wake Forest Baptist bond.
Okay.
Wake Forest Baptist bond.
Okay.
I think it's general obligation bond, and, we believe that is beneficial to the community, because we believe that a general obligation bond by Wake Forest Medical Center, and, so general obligation bond is one of the municipal bond,